My name's Dr. John Morgan. I'm a grassland biologist and I've been working in these grasslands of Western Victoria since about 1992. So we burn the grasslands and we actually get really good outcomes for both asset protection but also this kind of conservation thing. Fire is really critical to the grasslands of Western Victoria and does a couple of really key things. Burning grasslands in summer in particular keeps them really healthy. It stops the kangaroo grass smothering out all the species. So firstly, fire keeps them healthy by maintaining them fairly open. And the second thing about fire is that it promotes flowering of native species. Most native plants tend to flower best in the year after fire. Some of these species only exist on roadsides now, like this little guy here, the hoary sunray, highly endangered in Australia now. Around Wycliffe, I mean, there's probably 10,000 plants. Yeah, exactly. But you have this is the epicentre for this species. So grasslands are really important ecosystems in Western Victoria, by and large because they've been cleared from most of their former range. Only about 5% of grasslands now exist in a kind of good condition. And they retain a whole heap of really important plant and animal species that are found nowhere else in the world. So in Western Victoria, there's animals such as the striped legless lizard that are found nowhere else but these types of grasslands. There's plants like the button wrinklewort that are completely confined to grasslands. And there's even some insects, a thing called a golden sun moth, which is found mostly in grasslands. It's its stronghold. So grasslands conserve a whole heap of really important native biota.
One of the things that we've learnt over the past 20 or 30 odd years is that burning, particularly native grasses, helps not only with biodiversity, but it makes the community a lot safer. And if you don't burn it, it doesn't matter for a year or two because it doesn't grow tall like introduced grasses, for instance, phalaris, foggrass, wild oats. To retain that native grassland is such a benefit for the community, particularly for fires. Our ancestors for 40 odd thousand years burnt all the time and we stopped. And because we've stopped, it then allows the introduced species to come in and take over the native grasslands. So it is important to burn and to burn at the right time. To do any work on any roadside or any public land, you must have it in what they call a municipal fire prevention plan. The Environmental Protection, Biodiversity and Conservation Act. It's all empowering. It's for all land, not just private land, not public land, for all land all over Australia. So if there are some species out there of flora or fauna that is threatened, there are huge fines for people that do the wrong thing. So it's good to understand what the Act says.
In September 2013, I took it upon myself to spray out our Noski subdivision fire breaks. Instead of doing a 3 metre spray break, which is the fire prevention plan, I've gone for the whole area to spray out the whole lot because of the phalaris issues. I was in deep shit from the EPBC and we got notification that there's a $500,000 fine because I've sprayed out the native vegetation and done damage to the vegetation. Yeah, it was a very hard, tough lesson to learn, and it was only due to the lack of education. You know, if this ever goes ahead, I'll lose the farm.
The meeting tonight was more about getting the Wallora and the Wycliffe Brigade members here to firstly recognise the good work that you guys have been doing for a number of years on roadside burning.
The values for you guys, which is burning roadsides to protect assets, whether that be townships or crops or tree plantations or whatever, are absolutely compatible with the preservation of these roadsides. It's better to burn them and maintain them in good condition than to not burn them, certainly much better than spraying them or ploughing them up. And if you go and spray them or plough them up, what we know from 25 years worth of work now is that phalaris just takes over and you end up with this bloody horrendous mess that you'll probably never push back the other way to the native system. You guys are doing a fantastic job because the burning of the roadsides is completely compatible with their conservation. And even if you weren't interested in their conservation, Doing what you're doing is going to give you what you want. It gives me what I want, which is the preservation of these ecosystems. And it's actually just nice to be aware that they in fact both meet, sort of seamlessly in the middle. So that's what I really wanted to just sort of say tonight, to give you a sort of an insight into why we care about these things, and hopefully know a little bit more about these things now. So collaborating across a whole heap of partners such as the CFA, the CMA, government and university means that we can deliver on grassland conservation and linear grassland conservation because we each have a different set of skills. My skills are scientific research skills, so I can monitor the effects of management. CFA manages grasslands by burning them. The CMA facilitates this process by providing funding and looking for ways to improve grassland weed control. And government can help support this through their policies. By implementing good policies that work with local communities, we can all ensure grasslands persist.